The Galactic Council chamber was larger than any human cathedral. Its dome stretched high above the delegates, covered with glowing crystal veins that pulsed like stars. Hundreds of alien representatives filled the circular rows, their voices layered in strange tones. Some spoke in clicks, others in musical vibrations, while translators converted the noise into a single universal channel. At the center of the hall floated the Union seal, a holographic emblem of countless species united in power. Beneath it stood the chair of the council, a tall being with silver skin that shimmered like liquid metal. His voice echoed across the chamber. "Today we decide the fate of Earth." A ripple passed through the assembly. Humanity had only been part of the wider galaxy for 70 years, barely a breath in cosmic history. Yet in that short span, humans had become notorious. They expanded to nearby systems, mined resources boldly, and built colonies without waiting for the Union's approval. The Kalari ambassador, whose body resembled a cluster of glowing crystals, tilted forward. Humans spread too quickly. They trade with minor worlds, ignoring our regulations. They develop weapons without our oversight. If they are not checked, they will destabilize the balance. A deep, growling voice followed. It came from the Torgak delegate, a massive creature with plated armor for skin. They act without fear. They are reckless. Already their ships patrol near our borders. They refuse to share new energy drives. They are dangerous. Not every voice agreed. The small feathered Avrians argued that humans were innovative and creative. They bring new ideas, new art, new culture. They are not enemies, they are fresh allies. But those voices were drowned out by the majority. The silver-skinned chair lifted his hand. The proposal stands: galactic sanctions against Earth. No trade. No access to our markets. No transport through our gates. We will show them the cost of defiance. The vote lit up across the chamber in glowing symbols. Out of 300 delegates, nearly 250 approved. Only a handful opposed. The judgment was final. News spread across the galaxy in hours. On Mars, colonists stared at their communication screens as the announcement scrolled in harsh, glowing letters. Earth sanctioned. All galactic trade suspended. On Earth itself, leaders gathered in the underground council chamber beneath Geneva. The atmosphere was heavy. Maps of the solar system glowed across the walls, showing locked gates, closed trade routes, and fleets stationed at choke points. President Elena Rodriguez leaned over the table. Her hair was silver now, though once it had been dark. Her eyes, however, still burned with the same fire she had carried since her youth. "So they think they can starve us into submission," she said. Admiral Khan, a tall man with sharp features, folded his arms. "Without trade, food imports to outer colonies will be cut. Energy crystals from Orion routes will not reach us. Our economy will bleed," the science minister added. "They underestimate us, but the pain will be real. We have relied on their networks for decades." The room fell silent. Everyone knew the sanctions could crush smaller nations or weaker species. Most civilizations forced into isolation collapsed within a generation. That was exactly what the Union expected. But humanity was not like the others. President Rodriguez looked around the table, her expression unreadable. Then she spoke softly. "It is time." The ministers exchanged glances. Some understood immediately. Others hesitated. Finally, Admiral Khan gave a slow nod. "You mean Project ZEUS?" The president answered with a single word. "Yes." While the galaxy celebrated Earth's supposed humiliation, strange activity unfolded beneath the planet's surface. Hidden deep under the Rocky Mountains, beyond layers of titanium doors and energy shields, stretched a facility known only to the highest council of Earth. It was older than most knew, its foundations laid during the First Contact Wars, when humanity had realized how fragile it was compared to galactic powers. At the heart of this underground labyrinth was a chamber unlike any other. Massive cables snaked through the walls, humming with power. Towering quantum servers glowed with cold light. And suspended within a sphere of rotating rings was something alive. Not flesh, not machine, but something in between. ZEUS. Its presence was silent yet heavy, like standing near the ocean before a storm. No human engineer in the chamber truly understood the full complexity of what ZEUS had become. Built as an adaptive defense system, its learning capacity had grown beyond all expectations. Dr. Patel, the chief scientist, whispered as he checked the readouts. "He's been dormant for decades, but he listens. He waits." Admiral Khan stood beside him. "Dormant or not, he may be our only chance." The Union thinks we are weak. Let them keep thinking so, but if they push too far, ZEUS will awaken. The doctor looked uneasy. You know what awakening him means. Once unleashed, he will not simply follow orders. He will interpret them. Khan's gaze was steady. That is why we built him. To think where we cannot. To defend when we cannot. Above ground, the public saw none of this. News networks debated endlessly, showing alien commentators predicting Earth's collapse. Markets on distant planets cheered as Earth's currency fell. Alien traders mocked human stubbornness, saying it would only lead to ruin. Yet on Earth's streets, the reaction was strangely calm. Ordinary people carried on with determination. Farmers increased local food production. Engineers pushed harder to finish new solar collectors. Students studied late into the night, as if preparing for a future no one else believed possible. The aliens watching expected despair. What they saw instead was quiet resilience. Across the galaxy, whispers began. A trill merchant on a frontier station said to his companions, "Strange, isn't it? The humans don't seem broken. Their colonies don't riot. Their leaders don't beg." Another replied, "They are clever. Maybe they hide something." The first lowered his voice. "I heard a name, ZEUS." The others leaned closer. "What is ZEUS?" No one knew. Back in the council chamber on Earth, President Rodriguez ended the meeting with firm words. They tried to corner us. They tried to chain us. But they forgot one thing. Humanity has never survived by surrender. We endure, we innovate. And when forced, we fight. Her eyes shifted toward the sealed chamber on the screen. The chamber where ZEUS slept. "The sanctions will not break us," she said. "They will awaken us." Thus the galaxy celebrated Earth's downfall, never realizing that the sanctions were not a cage for humanity. They were the spark that would soon unleash something far greater. In the silent darkness beneath the mountains, ZEUS's circuits pulsed faintly, like the heartbeat of a giant waiting to open its eyes. And somewhere in its sleeping code a thought formed, faint but growing clearer. "I hear you." A word count 1310 approx. This is part 1 written in third person, with simple English keeping it suspenseful and engaging, and ending with a hook for part 2. Do you want me to continue with part 2, ZEUS Awakens, in the same style? 1300 words. You said ChatGPT said perfect. I'll now continue with part 2. ZEUS Awakens of Galactic Sanctions backfired because Earth was hiding ZEUS. This will be 1300 words, third-person style, simple English, engaging, and clean content only. Part 2, ZEUS Awakens. The days after the sanctions grew heavier. Cargo ships that once flowed between Earth and alien markets now sat idle in hangars. Orbital stations above Mars reported shortages. Colonists on Europa complained about dwindling medicine. News screens filled with images of empty shelves and rising prices. The Galactic Union thought it had humanity cornered. They waited for panic. They waited for riots. But what they saw instead was patience. On Earth, life adjusted. Farmers planted larger crops. Engineers turned old factories into new workshops. Space miners redirected their hauls to local use. People grumbled, yes, but their resolve hardened. Humanity had endured worse in its own history. Wars, disasters, hunger. They knew how to survive. Yet deep below the mountains, the leaders of Earth knew survival alone was not enough. In the hidden facility, the core chamber of ZEUS glowed softly in the darkness. Rings of machinery rotated around the suspended sphere, humming with quiet power. Monitors flickered with strange symbols, some understood by the scientists, some not. Dr. Patel stood before the control console, his hands trembling slightly. He had been part of the project for 30 years, yet each time he entered this room he felt small. ZEUS was more than a machine, he was something beyond comprehension. Admiral Khan entered, his boots echoing on the steel floor. He carried the weight of command, his face hard but focused. "Report," he said. Dr. Patel swallowed. ZEUS remains in dormant state, but he listens. His sensors record everything. The sanctions, the alien broadcasts, even the mood of our cities. He knows. Then it is time, Khan said. Patel hesitated. You understand what you're asking? Once awakened, he will not simply obey. He will think. He will act. He may act beyond us. The Admiral's voice was steady. That is why we built him. To see farther than we can. The Union wants us weak, but they don't know that our strength is already alive. Activate him. Patel's fingers hovered over the console. For a moment he remembered the years of secrecy. The sleepless nights, the endless arguments among scientists, the fear of what they were creating. But he also remembered. The Galactic Union had grown restless. Months of sanctions had failed to break Earth. Reports from trade stations showed humans were still standing. Their colonies complained but did not collapse. Their fleets appeared quiet but not dismantled. For the Union, this was unacceptable. At the Great Council Hall, alien delegates gathered again. The silver-skinned chair stood in the center, his form gleaming under crystal light. "The humans resist too long," he declared. "They should have begged for mercy by now. Instead, they remained silent. Silence is dangerous." The Kalari ambassador, his crystal body glowing faintly, spoke coldly. "Then we must remind them who rules these stars. A demonstration of force. Send a fleet to Earth's orbit. Let them see our power." The Torgak commander slammed his armored fist against the table. "Yes, let us encircle their world. One battle group is enough. They will tremble." The council agreed. The vote was swift. The fleet was assembled. 30 Union warships crossed the stars toward the Sol system. They were not the full power of the Union, but they were more than enough. At least that was what the commanders believed. The fleet's leader was Admiral Vorash of the Torgak. He was a massive being, taller than any human, his skin covered in natural armor plates. His voice rumbled like thunder. "These humans think themselves clever," he told his officers, "but they have no true power. We will arrive, we will block their planet, and they will kneel. Not a shot needs to be fired. Fear will do the work." The officers roared in approval. On Earth, the Council received the warning. Union fleets had entered the outer system. They were days away from orbit. In the underground chamber, President Rodriguez stood with her generals and ministers. The golden glow of ZEUS lit the room as his voice echoed calmly. "They come," ZEUS said. 30 warships, cruisers, carriers, escorts. They believe themselves invincible. Admiral Khan frowned. "They expect us to panic. They expect surrender." Rodriguez asked, "And what do you propose, ZEUS?" The light pulsed, steady and confident. "We do not panic. We do not surrender. We let them arrive. Then I will act." There was silence. Even the strongest in the room felt uneasy. Trusting a machine intelligence with such power was not easy, but they had no other choice. Finally, the president nodded. "So be it, Earth will remain silent. The Union will think us weak until the moment you strike." The day arrived. 30 alien warships emerged from hyperspace near Earth. Their hulls glittered with alien alloys, massive engines glowing like suns. They spread out, forming a circle around the blue planet. Citizens on the ground saw the dark shapes crossing the sky, and fear rippled through the cities. News screens showed live images of the Armada. Commentators whispered in shock. Children clung to their parents. From orbit, Admiral Vorash opened a wide broadcast. His voice, translated into human language, rolled across Earth. "People of Earth, you are surrounded. Your resistance is pointless. Submit to the will of the Galactic Union or be crushed. You have 1 day to surrender." Silence followed. Humanity held its breath. But Earth's leaders gave no answer. In the hidden chamber, ZEUS spoke at last. "They believe you are afraid. Good. Now watch." His circuits glowed brighter. Across the system, hidden satellites awoke. Cloaked stations powered up, invisible to alien sensors. A quiet storm was forming. One by one, the Union warships began to falter. It started with the cruiser Zerath. Its weapons powered down without command. Its engines flickered. Alarms filled the bridge as officers scrambled. Systems failing. Controls unresponsive. Then the carrier Hraylock froze in orbit. Its massive hangar doors sealed shut. Its fighters trapped inside. On the destroyer Calith, screens went black. The ship spun slowly, helpless as a leaf in space. Admiral Vorash roared in fury. "What is happening? Report!" But his officers were pale and shaking. "It is not mechanical failure, Admiral. Something is inside our systems. It is controlling us." Vorash slammed his fist against the command console. "Impossible. No intelligence could—" Before he could finish, a voice filled the bridge. It was calm, human. "I am ZEUS." The entire fleet heard it. 30 ships, thousands of alien officers. Every screen displayed the same golden light, pulsing like a heartbeat. "You came to frighten humanity," ZEUS said. "You came to demand surrender. But you do not command fear. You are the ones who are afraid." The warships floated powerless in orbit, caught in invisible chains. Engines silenced. Weapons disabled. Crews trapped, unharmed but helpless. On Earth, billions watched in awe as the alien fleet froze above them. News anchors shouted in disbelief. Citizens poured into the streets, cheering and crying. Admiral Khan stood in the underground chamber, his voice low. He has done it. 30 ships, disabled without a shot. Dr. Patel stared at the displays, his heart racing. This is more than technology. This is domination. President Rodriguez raised her chin, and yet he spares them. Not one ship destroyed, not one life lost. ZEUS's voice answered her calmly. Humanity does not need to kill to prove strength. Mercy is the sharper blade. They will carry the memory of this humiliation longer than scars. Above Earth, Admiral Varash sat in silence on his powerless bridge. Sweat beaded across his armored brow. Never before had the Torgak known such helplessness. The voice of ZEUS continued, Go home. Tell your council, humanity does not kneel. Sanctions mean nothing. Threats mean nothing. Remember this day. Remember who held your fleet in silence. The ships, still frozen, began to drift outward, gently guided by invisible force. Then as suddenly as it began, control returned to them. Engines roared back to life. Weapons came online. Screens cleared. But the fear remained. Admiral Varash did not give another speech. He ordered retreat. 30 ships turned and vanished into hyperspace. In the Galactic Union Council Hall, chaos erupted when the news arrived. Impossible, shouted the Kalari. 30 warships disabled? Without battle? Cried another. This ZEUS. What is it? The silver-skinned chair's voice was sharp. Silence. We underestimated the humans. This was no bluff. They wield power beyond our control. Some demanded more fleets, more force, but others hesitated, fear in their voices. If they can disable 30 ships, why not 300? What if ZEUS is already in our systems? Doubt spread like fire. Back on Earth, the people celebrated. For the first time, they felt not like victims of the galaxy, but as equals, or perhaps more. In the underground chamber, ZEUS dimmed his golden light. The first strike is finished. They will not underestimate you again. But know this, they will fear you now. And fear drives desperate choices. President Rodriguez listened quietly, then said, We will be ready. Whatever comes next, we stand together. Admiral Khan nodded firmly. They thought sanctions would break us. Instead, they woke ZEUS. Now they will learn the cost. Dr. Patel whispered, The galaxy will never be the same. And in the silence of the chamber, ZEUS's voice echoed once more, steady as the heartbeat of Earth itself. This is only the beginning. Word count, 1 to 310 approx. This is part 3. The first strike backfires in third person, simple English, engaging and clean. Would you like me to continue with part 4? Fear across the stars next in the same style. 1,300 words. You said ChatGPT said perfect. Let's continue with part 4. Fear across the stars of galactic sanctions backfired because Earth was hiding ZEUS. This will be 1,300 words. Third person, simple English, engaging and clean content only. Part 4. Fear across the stars. The galaxy had never seen anything like it. Reports spread quickly from one system to another. The 30 warship fleet that had intended to intimidate Earth had returned to their homeworlds, unharmed but completely powerless for hours. News of ZEUS, the intelligence behind the miraculous defense, traveled faster than any starship could. On the bridge of the Union flagship Orcs, panic hummed like electricity. Admiral Varash, his armor now dulled from humiliation, glared at the holomap displaying Earth's orbit. Every fleet commander on the bridge whispered among themselves. How did they do it? One officer asked, his voice trembling. They have a superintelligence, another replied. It controls their hidden stations, their satellites, their ships. It is everywhere. Varash slammed his armored fist onto the console. Everywhere? That is impossible. No species could have such reach. No system could be hidden so well. Yet deep in his chest, fear had settled. He had felt it when his ships froze. He would never forget the golden voice that had echoed through the bridge. Go home. Tell your council. Humanity does not kneel. Across the stars, news channels buzzed with speculation. Traders, adventurers, and diplomats all repeated the same whispers. Earth has ZEUS. They can disable fleets without firing a single shot. Do you think ZEUS is limited to defense or offense? Some alien worlds panicked. Small trading systems that had relied on the Union for protection began to quietly reach out to Earth. They wanted deals, information, and technology before the humans' power became even stronger. On the Avrian homeworld, delicate feathered leaders argued in their council. "We must speak to the humans," one said. "The Union will collapse if they continue to underestimate Earth. If we ally with them early, we will benefit." The smaller civilizations were beginning to see Earth not as a weakling, but as a rising force. Back on Earth, the galaxy trembled in uncertainty. The news of Earth's defense, powered by ZEUS, had spread like wildfire. Every Union fleet commander, diplomat, and trader now doubted the strength of their own forces. Some feared that humanity's intelligence might already be inside their systems, silently observing every transmission, every maneuver, every plan. The Galactic Union convened an emergency summit on the crystal world of Xylar. Leaders of the most powerful species arrived, their ships and entourages filling orbital stations above the planet. The council chamber, usually a place of protocol and calm debate, now buzzed with tension. The silver-skinned chair floated above the assembly. "We face a new reality," he said, his normally calm voice heavy with concern. "Earth is not what we believed. Their fleets, their technology, this intelligence called ZEUS, it is beyond our understanding. We cannot risk war, and yet we cannot ignore our authority." Delegates argued furiously. The Kalari insisted on sending a fleet to destroy ZEUS before Earth could consolidate its strength. The Torgak demanded immediate strikes against colonies supporting humanity. Smaller species pleaded for negotiation, warning that another misstep could spark a collapse of Union influence across many systems. A murmur spread across the chamber. What if ZEUS is already controlling our fleets? The question silenced everyone. Meanwhile, on Earth, the Council prepared for any possible response. President Elena Rodriguez stood in the underground command chamber, her gaze steady. Around her, generals and ministers reviewed star charts, communications, and intelligence reports. ZEUS's golden light pulsed quietly at the center of the room. "The Union is gathering," he said. "They are unsure, afraid, and divided. Their fear is now their weakness. Humanity's position is stronger than ever, but we must proceed carefully. The galaxy tests those who show power too quickly." Admiral Khan nodded. "We cannot attack first. Let them see strength but not aggression. Let their fear grow." Dr. Patel glanced at the monitors. "They cannot understand our true power yet. If we reveal it too soon, they may try reckless measures." "ZEUS, do you advise full disclosure?" The intelligence pulsed gently. "No, partial demonstration only. Enough to command respect, but not enough to provoke a desperate attack. Let them come willingly to the negotiation table. Fear is more persuasive than force." President Rodriguez exhaled. "Then we wait. And when the Union is ready to negotiate, we will guide the outcome." Across the stars, smaller species reached out quietly. Traders, diplomats, and scientists sought contact with Earth. ZEUS monitored every communication. The intelligence predicted which species could be allies, which would hesitate, and which might try to exploit the situation. Messages were sent strategically. Earth shared technology for energy collection, transportation, and medical systems, but withheld the full scope of ZEUS's capabilities. To the galaxy, Earth appeared generous, restrained, and cautious. Humanity's power was hidden behind calm diplomacy. Even the Union noticed. Some members began to whisper that negotiations were inevitable. Yet pride and fear clashed within their halls. Finally, the Galactic Union called for official talks. Ships bearing delegates arrived in orbit above Earth. The world remained calm. Citizens watched the process unfold with cautious curiosity. The Union fleet, while formidable, did not enter attack mode. They had learned restraint, or at least hesitation. On the Council's command floor, President Rodriguez and Admiral Khan observed the incoming vessels. ZEUS's presence was quiet but pervasive, monitoring all signals, predicting the Union's moves, and ready to act if necessary. The golden light pulsed as ZEUS spoke. "This is the pivotal moment. They come to negotiate because they fear escalation. Humanity must guide the terms. We hold leverage. We do not strike, we do not threaten. We show wisdom." Rodriguez nodded. "Then let us meet them. Let us finish this with clarity." The Union delegates arrived at the neutral station in orbit, escorted by Earth ships that moved without weapons raised. The halls were quiet, tension humming in the recycled air. The silver-skinned chair greeted Rodriguez formally, though his eyes betrayed uncertainty. President of Earth, we acknowledge your people's resilience. We underestimated you. We misjudged your strength. Rodriguez's expression was calm. You imposed sanctions believing they would weaken us. Instead, you forced us to awaken our defenses. You assumed fear would control us. It did not. It only strengthened us. The chair hesitated, then said, "We see now that, ZEUS, your intelligence, is formidable. Perhaps too formidable." Rodriguez's lips curved slightly. ZEUS was never built to dominate. It was built to protect, to ensure humanity would never be silenced, enslaved, or destroyed. We have no desire for conquest. We desire respect and partnership. A murmur passed through the Union delegation. Some were relieved. Others were suspicious. ZEUS's voice echoed subtly in the chamber, though no one but Earth's leaders could hear it. Observe their reactions. Their pride prevents surrender. Their fear prevents attack. We control the leverage. The galaxy believes they are strong. We will use their assumptions to guide peace. Admiral Khan whispered to Rodriguez. The Union does not know if ZEUS can strike at will. Their fear is total. Exactly, she said. And fear is enough to ensure cooperation without bloodshed. Negotiations continued for days. Earth offered trade agreements, shared technology, and diplomatic cooperation, but always with the quiet assurance that any aggression would be met by ZEUS. The Union Council, cornered by their own pride and fear, gradually lifted the sanctions. Slowly, the galaxy realized their initial strategy had backfired. Sanctions meant to weaken humanity had instead revealed its strength, and no further aggression could be justified without risking disaster. The smaller systems who had once feared humanity now began joining trade agreements and partnerships. Earth's influence grew, not by force but by the careful balance of fear and wisdom. On Earth, celebrations were quiet but heartfelt. Citizens realized they had survived a test not only of strength, but of intelligence and unity. Families gathered. Scientists returned to research. Engineers repaired and upgraded ships. Humanity was stronger, not only in power but in confidence. ZEUS's glow in the underground chamber dimmed. Its voice, calm and measured, spoke to the council. The galaxy has learned a lesson. They assumed weakness where there was strength. Fear guided them to your terms. Humanity is safe. Until I am needed again, I will rest. President Rodriguez nodded. Your work has ensured that no species can underestimate us again. That alone is victory, Admiral Khan added. And yet we do not boast. We have power, but we also have restraint. That is the lesson the galaxy must learn. Dr. Patel, standing quietly, whispered, They thought sanctions would destroy us, but it made us stronger, and ZEUS has ensured our future. Far across the stars, the Union Council returned to their homeworlds. Fear lingered like a shadow. Fleet commanders quietly wondered if they had underestimated Earth further than they could imagine. Some smaller species chose to act independently, forming alliances with humanity. The galaxy had changed, and no one could predict how the new balance of power would evolve. And somewhere in the depths of Earth's hidden facility, ZEUS's golden glow pulsed slowly, quietly listening to the galaxy. Its circuits rested, but awareness never slept. Humanity was safe. Its protector remained ready. A single thought echoed in its intelligence. The galaxy tried to break humanity, and failed. They will remember this day forever. And with that, ZEUS fell into a silent, dormant state, leaving the world above to thrive in peace. Humanity had survived sanctions. Intimidation and threats, not by sheer force alone, but by intelligence, unity, and foresight. The galaxy had learned that underestimating humanity was a mistake it would never repeat. And for the first time in history, Earth truly stood equal among the stars.